What is up, insiders? We are coming to you live across Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. We're here for another episode of Actionable Reaction, where we react to important things that happened this month. You've got Harrison here, you've got Watley there, and we have a guest with us today, Kurt Fairless, Vice President of Operations at ATI. Kurt, welcome to Actionable Reaction. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, Harrison, Watley. Hey, thanks for having me. Good.
Yeah, Kurt, we had 18 new line items added to the Xactimate price list this month. And I know that you watched our price list update summary video that was released yesterday because you were making fun of us, as everybody should always make fun of us, because of our natural, happy reactions to good changes that happened this month. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to jump right into the line items this month. One of the big ones that we talked about, Kurt, the first one we want to talk about this morning, corner bead. We actually have a drywall line item for corner bead, DRY-C bead. We've never had this line item before. So tell me more about how corner bead will impact your work and ATI's work when trying to settle claims.
Corner bead, great opportunity here for our team. We run into this quite often when we're repairing drywall after a flood. Mitigation is going to get to that corner of a wall, and it's just going to require some new repairs. And we've never had an option other than putting in maybe some drywall hours. But we have a clear line item that is going to address what we need to do. Awesome opportunity for our team, and just adds to the accuracy of what we're going to be estimating moving forward.
And speaking of accuracy, I think it's important to provide some guidance here, Kurt, in so much as, bull nose by linear feet has been around for the last decade. And so that's an add for line item that exists to augment, drywall line item, say 5/8 or 1/2 inch drywall, because the additional materials labor required to bull nose isn't included. Traditionally, corner bead is included in the drywall line item. So the reason Kurt's mentioning flood cuts is because this line item is to be applied if the mitigation team, of course, this is an ATI, right? Somebody got in there before you. But
Absolutely.
if you're using a reciprocating saw, and especially if you have not like the metal blade, but you've got maybe a wood or drywall blade, you end up disrupting the seam of the corner bead, and that'll shimmy 6 feet up the wall. And so restorers have always had trouble including those costs in a way that doesn't create friction in a claims environment. So to be clear, ninjas, insiders, don't go nuts and add corner bead every time you have drywall. This is in a flood cut type scenario where you may not be doing outside square footage repair of drywall, but the corner bead is disrupted up the wall.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times we've run into a wall with the cracks going up, and we've got to repair them. We haven't had a proper way to address that in the past, but now we do.
Yes, options are good, gentlemen. We like options. We've always said if there is no line item for an activity you are doing, it's hard to settle the claim. So it's nice to have it. While you're right, I think this is one of those. This corner bead line item is an example of something that could be or is used or tried to apply to scopes more often than it should be or is warranted to. That's why I've pulled up the additional item information. Just to highlight that it really says it's for jobs with excessive amounts of corner bead compared to the assumptions of the normal drywall line items. So, reminder, most drywall line items include corner bead, but some do not. Here's your option.
Yeah.
Or if you need excessive amounts, you've got options.
Another example would be, remember at the Grand where Shane was going through showing new Exact Mobile, and you've got all those outside corners at the Grand America. There's like a 5-star hotel in Salt Lake.
This is the Elevate conference hosted by Verisk every year.
It must have had 20 jogs inside of that room. So by square footage, the drywall line item isn't contemplating that many seams. So it would also be warranted in that context to add that
100%.
line item.
Two of the other exciting changes to the price list this month were around drywall window returns, up to 6 inches and greater than 6 inches. Pulling up the additional item information here. Why did the price list need to add a line item specifically for drywall window returns? What do you guys think?
I'll let Kurt run with it, but I'll show you guys what it is in case nobody's quite sure what a window return would be.
Perfect. Well, while Watley's showing us, not to be misunderstood. There is metal corner bead in this line item, Seth. But we've run into so many commercial properties. There we go. That window return. How many commercial properties do we restore? And we haven't had a proper line item to address how we're going to return into that window. It's not a jam. It's not square feet of drywall. There's more corner bead. This isn't a flush wall. Let's address this the right way, and we've got an option to do that now. It's going to include the proper techniques, the proper materials to address that window, and man, it's going to help you in all of your commercial environments.
A cool thing
Kurt,
about
thank
that
you.
line item, how it's designed, Harrison, sorry to cut you off, is that when you sketch out the property and you sketch the window correctly, often restorers adjusters don't focus on sketching the windows that accurately, but it can be helpful when you're using this line item, because if you load your cursor with this line item and mouse over that window, it will assign the optimal linear feet relative to the perimeter of the window. So it was thoughtfully designed by the pricing department in collaboration with product to work elegantly.
Yeah, I mean, now Watley, you combine that with geospatial technology, and we're scanning this, we're getting the right window dimensions. This is just going to flow very smoothly and be so much more accurate than we've had in the past.
You're an Actionable board member. We kind of omitted that as part of your introduction. Actually, the latest Actionable board member, latest addition to the team.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
did you guys talk about how this line item has been worked in that artificial intelligence into the Actionable profile?
Not yet. Watley, anytime new line items are coming out, it impacts kind of two of Actionable's resources. Traditionally, the Insight Sheet database, our collection of Xactimate invoicing templates. But our newest project, for those that are in the closed beta, know that we have a new Actionable Xactimate Profile with an updated claims engine that's providing live estimating guidance while you write. Really, what does this mean? We're inside while you're writing estimates in Xactimate. We're providing guidance around help you make sure you make less mistakes and help you make sure you add the warranted line items before you submit that scope. So anytime there's new major line items that come out with the drywall window return, this guy and the Actionable team always reach out to you guys, and we start to create new rules into the engine around, hey, here's a new line item. People don't know about it. We got to guide them to make sure they know about it. So while I can already see how this drywall window return is going to come into the Actionable profile. Essentially, hey, it looks like you're writing a commercial estimate. You've got windows around. Double check and ensure if you need to add a drywall window return. Yeah.
If you've got drywall and it's commercial sheet, then this may be warranted. Yeah, the balance there with the AI is not throwing erroneous and burdensome alerts. You're constraining that to when there's a high frequency, a high chance, a high certainty that line item is warranted for its inclusion.
And it's important to address that it's only for reasonable and customary situations. If you're going to be performing that work, then it's likely that this should be added. We shouldn't be adding any unwarranted scope of work that we're not going to perform.
And what's the
that's
game
why
here?
you're a board member, Kurt.
Right? You can always add labor hours, right? Like that's the lamest answer on ninjas, like labor hours. But what is the pricing department attempting to do? They're trying to reduce friction in claims. What is the Actionable Insight Sheet database been doing for 10 years, trying to reduce friction in claims? What is the artificial intelligence expression of the Insight Sheet database trying to do? We'll provide real-time guidance, navigational beacons that constrains overages, but make sure that warranted line items that are commonly omitted are then included.
All right, some other fun highlights, gentlemen. Adding that add 4 line item for diagonal stone tile installation into the FCS floor covering stone category. That's important. Wadley, Kurt was laughing at how happy we were about the garbage disposer air switch is now a line item thing. So, I mean, I have an air switch in my house. If I have a loss in my kitchen, I guess I'm good to go. I got the air switch line item, so it's good.
Yeah.
But it's also just nice to see the pricing department add things based on modern building methodologies.
Yeah, that's right.
Options, right.
It's not often when they're adding line items, it's not because they omitted it or made a mistake. It's because building methodologies change, right?
Yeah.
And so they do a great job of keeping up with that. I think that's a good expression. That diagonal line item that you just glossed over, that exists in the wood category, the tile category. And so now it's just the latest addition to round out any of the FC categories, the floor covering categories.
Yeah.
And now stone is in there for diagonal tile installation. So that helps.
All right, that's
what else?
some of the other line items we have this month, a collection of gable cornice strip metal line items, some rubber flash parapet walls. The pricing department has added a lot of parapet wall line items in the last 3 to 6 months, but noticeably there was missing some rubber options, so they've added some rubber parapet walls, and as well as some roofing felt synthetic double coverage low slope line items added to the price list. That's it. That's the 18 new line items that were added to the Xactimate price list in July of 2022. What do you guys think? Big month, small month, important changes? Kurt, how will these line items impact your project director's day-to-day activities?
This is a big month for us. Just the drywall line items alone are going to be very impactful. I can envision our team's going to be using those quite often moving forward. Any hurricanes come in, we've got wind-driven rain. We're going to be getting a lot of use out of these line items down the road. And it's just nice to see that it's in there for future use. So we might not need it every single day today, but it goes back to the drywall patch J function and just truly educating everybody on what the line item includes and how to properly use it.
Yeah, I can see that happening with dry sea bead a lot in the beginning. New line item. It's a component that's usually included in other line items. So there will be a lot of conversations in the beginning about, is it warranted for you to add corner bead as a standalone line item to the scope?
Absolutely. I would just have the team that any questions when you get that to redirect or reach out to the Actionable team and start a dialogue to understand that line item even more.
Yeah, I encourage our user base to not abuse that corner bead line item. That could be a headache for staff adjusters. If I'm writing rules, over at Nationwide, then our profile, I'm thinking about how if that line item is included and maybe the drywall by square footage exceeds 40% of the WC variable, then maybe throw a violation on their end because I think it could be abused. Just kind of the way like dry patch J was, Harrison, at the outset. But then now the industry understands when dry patch J applies and when it doesn't.
Shout out to Todd Van Sant, who says that it was a huge month specifically for the air switch. He's with us. Huzzah on the air switch.
Yeah, right. How do you account for that otherwise? I think that's great. I like all the parapet wall concessions. This kind of rounds it out. It's difficult actually as an estimator trying to make the connection between TPO and PVC and then bitumen. How do you sell it?
Bitumen.
Yeah, and so bitumen rubber, this is traditionally would be associated with the bitumen. But I think you kind of have 3 classes of flat roof, Kurt, but it's not clear as the user when you search for it where all the add-on line items for. And this is something that I'm proud of, Harrison, watching you guys work through the rules for RFG. It's making the connection towards PVC with an add for PVC, and then it's also excluding if you have a PVC line item and you're hitting it with an add for bitumen, then there's a problem, right? So I think that those line items will be used quite a bit. I dig it. We didn't touch on the synthetic roofing felt, but those are good line items for double coverage for low slope. Low slope's always costly for ATI and other restorers to deal with, right? You have severe leak risk. Think of a patio out back of a second story on a home, so on. So now there's concessions for the new synthetic underlayment that's single or double coverage for low slope. I think that was a good addition. That's really hard to scope for as a restorer without a line item. So done deal.
Huge shout out to Fairless for just continuing to update to building codes. And future state with this and the exact scope option for your roofing. Huge potential with the platform.
I was in a call of all the Xactimate certified trainers on Monday, hosted by Verisk, and the big topic of discussion was ExactScope. And there was a lot of positive feedback about ExactScope with roofing and exteriors. So Kurt, it's good to hear from your side, and it's good to see that these line items are there. And I'm sure Verisk is working on building them into ExactScope along the way as well to remind people that they're an option.
Yeah, cool. I dig it.
I love it. All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
That's it.
All right. Thank you for tuning in, following, and supporting Actionable Insights. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit. We are not on TikTok. Sorry.
We should be.
No,
we should be on TikTok.
You and I will constantly debate whether or not we should be on TikTok.
I'm the old man in the room between the three of you guys, and we should be on TikTok.
I'm still not convinced TikTok is the future.
Yeah.
But
all right.
Yeah.
Just look a decade into the future. We might regret that. It's becoming its own search engine.
As a reminder, if you want to know where the best place to watch our price list update summary video series, where we analyze all the new additions to the Xactimate price list, our website is getinsights.org. Head to the free resources to the price list update summary section, and you will find the best place to watch all of the information we have to share about what new line items came out and how are we supposed to use them. In the meantime, thank you, Kurt Fairless, Vice President from ATI. Watley, thank you for joining me this morning. Thank you, gentlemen. Cassandra O'Neill says, please join TikTok. I will consider it. And thank you for all your feedback. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Good luck settling those claims out there.
Keep building.